Hey, it's Russ and Lauren right here on the Infectious Groove Music Channel. Thanks for stopping by. We always say we love it when everybody spends time with us. So any amount of time you spend with us, we are happy for. Please make sure to check out Lauren's podcast, the Beard Al podcast. Whether or not you like Weird Al, I bet you like laughing. And even if you don't like beer and you like Weird Al, or you don't like Weird Al but you like beer, or you just like life, check out her podcast. There's links in the description below. But for today, Lauren is sharing with us 5 great alto voices. And these are all 5 that when I got your list from you, I went, yep. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was almost like, I don't even know what I'm going to add to this. So you talk and then maybe I'll say some things.
Okay. Yeah. So the reason I wanted to put this list together in the first place is because I think when we think of female vocalists, a lot of times you think about, how high can they go? What sort of tricks can they do and stuff like that?
For me, you instantly think Whitney, Kelly, Mariah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's great. But I think there's also beauty in, a lower, richer female voice.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know she's not on your list, but a person that made me realize that lately is Billie Eilish over the past couple of years. Like, I know she does like a lot of the whisper vocal, not whisper scale, but like the whispering vocal. But when she full force sings, it's lower.
It's lower.
And it made me go, oh yeah. And if you're a subscriber to the channel, I love me some Whitney and I love me some Kelly, but like it all doesn't have to be hitting those high notes. Yeah.
Right. So, I was like, let's just celebrate some of these lower, richer voices, shall we? And first on my list is undeniably my favorite alto voice, Patsy Cline.
Gorgeous.
And, she brought something, there's a rich, velvety, buttery kind of thing that's happening when she hits that crazy. And like she holds it with the slightest vibrato in the lower notes. I was like, oh, that's just a touch. It's beautiful.
The heartache is there. Yeah. On a side note, my mom used to walk around the house and she would always sing the half octave on this and like higher. And she would always go, well, God didn't bless me with a low voice. He blessed me with a high, beautiful voice. and I always be like, I've never heard someone make an excuse for not being able to sing lower, but way to put a spin on it.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, gorgeous voice. Now, this next one, if you've ever been to a wedding in your entire life, you've heard this song at every wedding. And whether it was the song that the couple danced to, or something, or the first slow dance of the night, the song is out all the time at every wedding. But the vocal though.
Oh, of course. Etta James at last. And I mean, she did so many wonderful things, but that low, rich tone that she has, like I don't think a soprano voice could have done that song any sort of justice. It needed that sort of power behind it, and she brought something unique.
It's like you say with Patsy Cline, like any other voice singing crazy is not going to sound right. And again, I know I kind of threw this right into At Last territory when we started, but like, she's more than At Last. But what my thing with these videos is if you don't know exactly what we're talking about, we always try and be like, this is the one you know.
That's the one you know.
And her... Yeah. Nobody, I don't think anybody's ever, I don't know of any cover of anything from Etta James that was ever done in a higher register.
Yeah, you
just kind of have to.
Yeah,
it's kind of like, well, in male wise, it's kind of like Elvis. Like people don't go covering Elvis and doing it higher because then you're not covering Elvis.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
The next one you have, I think is one of the most modern examples on your list, and a person who, this is falls into underrated for me, even though the whole world knows who she is.
Right. Yeah. Annie Lennox. Okay. I don't think people pay enough attention to how brilliant of a vocalist she is because, she got the whole Eurythmics things, the songs and all this,
even
that,
when
and the
they
other.
came out, the visuals was the first thing with her haircut and the color of hair. It was the first thing anybody talked about when the Eurythmics came out.
Yeah, that makes
sense.
sense.
And then even when she went platinum blonde, people were still talking about her hair. And I was like, but
the voice, the voice. And she's a very brassy alto, right? Like Patsy Cline's got that rich velvety thing. Annie Lennox, brassy. It's just so unique and so cool.
Of the Eurythmics material and the her solo work, there's 2 covers I would point out to people to take a listen to be like, whoa, I didn't know she was that good. One is her work with David Bowie at the Freddie Mercury tribute. Her when she covers Freddie's voice on Under Pressure.
Yeah.
Brilliant. If you only listen to the bridge of that, you will know how she can sing like no one else. And this one's way out there, but her cover of Put a Lot of Love in Your Heart with Al Green. Like when you said brassy, that's the first thing I thought of. That's a brassy vocal.
Brassy vocal
On that, yeah. The next one I think debuted right around the same time, and is another one who, this is a person who I think a lot of people watching this video would be like, what do you mean underrated? But she's underrated.
Yeah, Sade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, probably one of the most unique voices that kind of ever entered pop music.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anyone who sounds even close to her
No,
voice.
yeah, there's nobody who sounds like her.
And oh my God, like talk about a sexy lady voice. Like that's what that is. And it's
when she debuted, and again, no disrespect to the material, but when she debuted, the first thing I heard of her was Smooth Operator. And I remember being like, the first time I heard it, being like, this song isn't that good. But her voice, you know, and the same thing with any other, like Sweetest Taboo, other songs that you hear, you're like, it doesn't matter if the material, like she could literally, I know I say this a lot, but she could sing the phone book and you just be like, have you heard her do the phone book?
Have you heard the F's?
Yeah, yeah. It's just, she's got such a, what you said, such a unique voice. Nobody sounds like her.
Right.
Like when you watch these talent shows and stuff, nobody ever covers them. You know why? Because you're not going to sound like her.
What are you going to do?
Now, the next one is one that when she first debuted, this was good. Everybody was like, wow, that low voice. And then had a resurgence recently because a male had a #1 hit with covering her original vocal. Yeah.
How cool. Tracy Chapman. Yeah. Again, talk about a unique voice, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, I couldn't cover a Tracy Chapman song and do it total justice.
Oh.
You know?
Well, the Lord blessed you with a higher voice.
The Lord, slightly. I'm still an alto.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
For sure.
And I think, you know, what's interesting is she has one of the biggest hits of the 80s, one of the most well-known hits of the 80s with Fast Car. And then she has one of the most well-known and well-remembered hits of the 90s as well with Give Me One Reason. And then Fast Car just had a resurgence. And what's funny about Fast Car having a resurgence is people have the nerve to be like, oh, that guy wrote that song. You're like, no. Yeah.
No friend.
Yeah. And in that cover too is like we talked about with you shouldn't cover that person. Like it's not a bad cover, but it's just a person
it's just
singing
a cover.
exactly the same. Yeah.
Right. Because it's such a good song by such a brilliant woman with a brilliant alto voice.
Exactly. So she's not defensive. So as we said at the top of the video, we love it when you stop by the channel and spend time with us. Please, by all means, drop a comment. Likes help and sharing this stuff helps and everything. But what matters more to us than anything is the interaction. So let us know some of your favorite alto voices, or like Etta James, I went right to At Last. Tell us some other songs you love by Etta James, or anybody else. Annie Lennox, some of the originals you like by her instead of the covers that I mentioned, things like that. But if you would please drop those comments, that helps us out a great deal. We love the interaction. And as we always say, thank you so much for watching.